Welcome back to another week of weekend shenanigans. It's going to be a busy weekend. Finished clips for the brake and fuel lines for the Datsun. Hoping to get those in. I also got the old sprayer out because my off-roading bumper came. So time to paint that and hopefully get that sucker in the truck. And the tractor project, I finally got a 20-ton press. So hopefully I can get that wheel bearing apart, get the new seals in, which actually still got to pick those up from the post office, and then get this guy back on the tractor so that it'll actually roll and have brakes. So yeah, it's gonna be a busy weekend. Let's get us started here. Alrighty, so this is the old sprayer I like to use. It's pretty old, but thing's very simple, very clean, and runs like a champ. I discovered a few years ago that if you buy spray paint like it is, maybe not this one in particular, but you know, in general, the aerosol can spray paint, you are getting ripped off. Because the amount of paint in here, like, okay, let's take a look here. We'll do some math here. This is 12 ounces versus this is 1 gallon. This thing, what did I pay for this? I think it was like, I don't know, 20 bucks or something. Whereas that's $5. So, you know, the amount of paint you get in there, you're getting ripped off. You're getting ripped off majorly. But you're paying for the convenience. The convenience, yes, that it's in a can and ready to go. Well, I don't. The convenience can kiss my ass. I'd prefer to have the greater amount of paint for the price, because I have an air compressor and I have aerosol stuff. The downside, though, is that here in the Republic of California, where's that handle going? We're not allowed to have nice things, and that's why this stuff, the oil-based high-performance enamel, yeah, you're not allowed to have that. So I picked up a gallon of this before the California Gestapo came in and made it so that you can't get them anymore. So, anywho, yeah, I'll be using this today. This stuff, I mean, I've been a Rust-Oleum fan because I've used it for years and it's never let me down. But it is good shit. I mean, I painted a car with it. It's great stuff. So, well, it takes a little while to dry, but when it does, it is hard. So, that's what we want. Let's get started. I find the best way to get the paint from the big can to your little can is to use spray paint can lids. So everybody's got them. Everybody, I mean, they just make an excellent scoop. So if you're throwing out a can of spray paint, save them. And then what you do is you just dip it in and scoop it, pour it into the main thing, and then when you're done with it, you set it on a piece of plastic you don't care about, let this dry, and then just throw it in the trash. So yeah, I got it in there, and now I'm going to use, I couldn't believe it when I saw it, because it had disappeared from California. Look at this, mineral spirits. Now, I don't think this is the original, original thing. This is probably, 7 herbs and spices, California style. But I've been looking for mineral spirits, and now they have it. So I'm going to add this in there to thin it. Yes, I'm just going to eyeball it. No, I'm not going to measure it because it's going on a bumper, and I'm just using it to thin it. So if it gets thin enough, it'll go through the sprayer. What the fuck do I care? Anywho, let's do that. So that's about what I'd call a 3-to-1. 3 parts paint to 1 part mineral spirits. Just eyeballed. I used my calibrated eye. So I'm going to give this a bit of a stir. Yes, I'm using a screwdriver. Don't judge. Don't judge. Yeah, once this is stirred up, we'll get out there and we'll start spraying. Easy peasy. Okay, this is the culprit. It's been blown off. It's been dusted. Time to paint. And voila, she is done. A little bit of runs here and there, but beggars can't be choosers. Plus, it is a bumper, so it's gonna be getting beat to hell on the desert, and I'll just touch it up as needed. So nice. Okay, so now that that's painted and drying outside, it's now time for cleanup procedure on this guy. And that's pretty straightforward. First things first, unscrew the little nozzle tip. Just like so. And there's another little nozzle, but I don't usually take that off because I fill this whole thing up with mineral spirits. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Well, go ahead and do it one-handed. But anyways, I'm going to pour some mineral spirits in there, slosh it around, and then spray it through the gun, and that'll clean it out. This thing's so simple that it's actually really awesome to clean. Alrighty, all nice and cleaned out. I'm back up on the shelf with you. Until next time. Okay, what's next on the agenda? Next project, pulling the inner seal on the tractor. Let's see. So, and of course all the oil is going to come pouring right out. Oh no, it's send back. Okay, so this rusty piece of shit caused the whole problem in the first place. It needs to get pried out. So, what I'm going to use, hopefully this doesn't damage the flange. Oh man, she is in there. Okay, I may have to get creative here. She's moving. Oh, there she goes. And I didn't scratch the flange. Perfect. Let's look at this ugly piece of shit. Jesus. Ah, focus, come on. Yeah. Anyways, this lovely seal from the 70s failed, which then caused, you can see in there pretty good, oil to get into the brakes, which then caused the brakes to fail. Which is why I got these lovely shoes back here, which are useless, even though they got a ton of meat on them. Damn near killed myself driving this sucker too. Alright, so the bumper's over there drying, and while that's happening, I put together the press, but it's not behaving, so we're going to work on getting this winch set up. First off, these lugs here on the top, need to get clocked in that direction. That way, I can actually access them. And what is involved in that? I read online you undo these two bolts. That should hopefully allow me to spin it. Man, these things are long. Ooh, wrong one. I don't think that guy's engaged anymore. Same with this one. Let's see. Well, here's a good look inside the motor for anybody who's interested in getting one of these. Looks like it's actually put together pretty well. Good solid connections. You can see the brushes in there, 4 of them. It's got a nice bearing here. I think I got the clutch in the release position, yeah, because it's not spinning. So, there's an O-ring here. And the other thing, I've been told that these are notorious for leaking. So, let's see, how do I clock this in the proper position? It looks like it could be up or down, so I can put them down. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to put them in the down position. But I'm also, on top of this guy, I'm going to use a little bit of gasket shellac, because I hear that that's a common leak point. It gets water into these guys, that's a no bueno. So this is the gasket shellac I like to use. Excellent stuff. It's, let's see if it says, oh shit, there she goes. So, yeah, it's leak proof. You could use it on threads. It resists water, steam, petroleum, antifreeze. I mean, stuff's excellent. One thing to keep in mind though, it is like a glue, so it'll make disassembly in the future a pain in the ass, but if I have to disassemble this, it'll likely be going back to the store to be returned. So, anywho, let's get this shmoo in there. So the housing's back on. You gotta be careful when you put these brushes on. You don't want to damage them. Some of you might notice, hey, this is clocked in the same direction as when you took it off. Yes, there's a pin on the back here, a keyed pin, to keep it in this orientation, so you can't put it on the upside down. There's no hole for it. And I could knock off the pin or drill a new hole, but I'm not about to void my warranty just so that I can have this thing a little easier to get the lugs on. So I'll just install the electrical on this before I put it in the truck. Pain in the ass, but meh, what the hell. Let's get a little bit of shellac on this surface and then get the whole thing back together. Just gab on a little bit, not too much. Also, if you get this stuff on your hands, it's not coming off. Very sticky. Yeah, it's good stuff, but it's sticky stuff, so be aware of that. Don't forget your spring washer here that loads the bearing. It is very important. Do not forget it. And do not screw it up. Okay, let's get this sucker on. Okay, back with the screwing of them on. Get them both good and tight. So, that's kind of annoying with the leads. The one, though, that is very important, though, that clutch on the other side, the lever, that will need to be in the downwards position, because otherwise you won't be able to engage or disengage the clutch. And it's kind of an important feature. Okay, she is good and tight, as the Germans would say. Let's go take a look at that clutch. So this is the clutch. That's free spool. And that's engage. I want that to be facing that away. Well, actually, that away would be ideal, but I'll put it where I can get it, and I might as well get some shellac in here anyways. Get this guy sealed up real good. Hopefully keep the water out. Okay, that's the last little Allen screw. Put over there where I could kick it on the ground, of course. And word on the street is that this is a cork gasket along here, and it likes to kill itself when you try and take it off. So, do a little, give it just a little tappy tap tap. See if we can knock her loose without trashing it. Yeah, she's in there. She's tighter than a nun. Oh boy, gonna have to get creative. Well, the internet lies again. It came off in one piece, I think. So still got the secret was to take the mallet and just smack the shit out of it. Gotta, like most things in life, you gotta show it who's boss. Don't let it talk. Oh fuck. Always right into the dirt. Right? God. Well, I ended up pulling out the triple planetary gear system, which I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with this. They all look like sintered gears and good application of grease. It's actually surprisingly well put together. I'm not gonna lie. You can see all the teeth in there and all the shmoo. So, what is still holding this guy together? Is that a nut at the end? Oh boy, gotta figure this sucker out. Orientation shouldn't matter on this, especially because it shouldn't matter, it's all geared. So if I could rotate it, watch as I find out that this side's got a damn pin as well. Alright, let's continue with disassembly. Okay, I got her apart, got her all figured out. It looks like there are little nuts, just like on this front flange on the inside. So I think the easiest thing to do here is going to be to take out this guy, and separate the two halves. And then I can, then I'll be able to put it back together. And I could seal this up independently and then just bolt the whole sucker together. I think that's going to be the way to do it here. Yeah, I gotta say, quite impressed with the, the gear system. Which, I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with the, the triple planetary gear system. It's got good application of grease. It's just, it's actually surprisingly well put together. And I think that's going to be the way to do it here. Yeah, I gotta say, quite impressed with the, the gear system. Which, I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with the with the build quality on this, it looks fairly decent. I am going to put a little bit more grease around the clutch mechanism there, because yeah, it leaves a little something to be desired. And the same for up here. I don't see any grease on this guy, this pawl for spinning it. So you're just sort of raw dogging it. Yeah, and that whole part rotates, so yeah, I'm gonna put some good grease. I got some molybdenum disulfide with graphite in it, which is what this stuff looks like with the dark color. So anyways, yeah, I'll add that. I'm not gonna mix the two, but I am gonna add some around that sleeve there. It'll also help keep the water out. Oh, and I got the gasket off in one beautiful piece, so I'll wipe that off. A little bit of shellac, whole thing together, we're gonna be good. Oh, if you do attempt this, first off, you do it at your own risk. Second, gasket shellac is what you want to use. Don't use that RTV stuff because it outgasses, and apparently it's actually corrosive. So it'll eat the hell out of everything inside. Anywho, let's do this. Hey, we have success. Here's the piece off. If you do take this apart, keep in mind that all that oil around there needs to stay on these seals, otherwise they will dry up, leak, and you will be boned. So yeah, just gotta take off these 3, 6, 7, 8 bolts and clock it the direction I want. Okay, now that we've got a lovely mess, let's get this guy clocked and all back together before it becomes a real problem. You know, in retrospect, looking at this, I really don't think I had to take apart the end of this and pull out all the gears. I really could have just taken off those 2 bolts and gone to these inside bolts, turned it, and been okay. I guess the bright side is I get to put gasket shellac on it, so it's going to be sealed extremely well, but a little extra thing that wasn't necessarily required. Okay, so interesting thing to think about, which I was looking at here, is that oh, come on, focus. Those teeth that you see around the outside, that's the engage or disengage for the clutch, essentially. When it's engaged with those, the whole body spins, or it locks the gears in, otherwise it slides. So, I don't know if you'd want to have grease on those. I think you would, because it would cushion it, but it may also cause it to try and slip off, which is where the positive engagement of that guy becomes very important. And I think there's a detent for it. I think I'm still going to grease this inside wall though, regardless. And if you don't have one of these, you should get one of these. Automatic grease gun. Look at this. That's it. Yeah, it should do her. Yep. Release the schmoo. You know, this isn't going to make a huge difference. The only thing that this is actually going to help with is when it's freewheeling, so when the clutch is disengaged. So, but I like having a little extra grease, keeps water out, and it's definitely not going to hurt anything. So I'm going to assemble this whole thing, and then I'll just slide the shafts in when it comes time to sort of put the thing together. So yeah, let's build her. Step 1, put boards down to support it. That way those grease seals don't touch any dirt and they're floating. Step 2, one by one, we're gonna pull these gears off. And oh, nope, not in that order. Get back on there, you. Well, we'll set that guy there for now because there's no grease in between it. Move our beautiful little gasket. And this guy is going to go in. This is step 2. Oh, and it's getting schmoo all over me. Oh, like a wet dream. And it's binding slightly. Ah, there she goes. Teeth engaged. Shit. Wipe on rag. Okay. Now, Interesting thing, those teeth don't seem to have... I guess this is just a spline shaft. This isn't an actual gear, so it just engages there. So again, no grease required. Let's get this bad boy in there. In you go. Gear set number 1. Try and keep as much of the grease in there as possible. I might add a little bit. It's usually not a good idea to mix greases though. But I'd rather not wash the whole thing to add the exact same grease. Alright, planetary gear set number 2. Easy peasy. And planetary gear set number 3, which is, this is actually number 1 if you look at it. Because the way it works, come on. The sun gear to engage, there we go. This shaft coming off the motor goes all the way through and engages this guy right here. So I guess that would probably be the weakest link. If this little gear here, let's see, we're gonna pull her out. Yep. If this guy were to shred, that hex was to shred, the whole thing is done. That's it. So that could have been a little bigger or a little better, but whatever. It does have gear reduction, so it shouldn't actually be pushing all that hard as long as you're not doing ridiculous dumb things with this winch. Oh, and then this is the part that fell into the dirt, which needs to go in there like that. But this guy's gonna get a little bit more grease first. Okay, so the first gasket, or same gasket, but I put the first layer of shellac on the metal, put the gasket down, wait for it to dry a little bit, then you put the second layer on the outside, seal her up. But while that's happening, I was looking at this guy here, and check this out, same size. So if we take this guy, shove it in there like that, you can see the planetary gear system working, which is, I like planetary gear systems, they're very cool. You got your ring gear, your planet gears, your sun gear, and it just, the torque reduction is amazing. Look, this guy spins once. That, the second level only spun maybe 5 teeth, and the one at the very bottom is like, it's not even moving at all. So the gear reduction is astronomical. No pun intended. But yeah, it's, as long as you keep the load proper and adhere to the duty cycles, because one thing, this guy will heat up quite a bit along with the motor because of all the work being done. As long as you adhere to that, I think this is actually a pretty decent winch. So I think I'll be able to keep her working for a while. We'll see what happens. Second layer of shellac is on. Now if we could just line up these holes. There we go. Of course I got it on my fingers, so that's not coming off for several days. And we'll get all these little bolts back in one by one. The joy. Okay, she's all torqued down. You know it's good and tight when the shellac starts to ooze out. I'll just give that a bit of a wipe so it doesn't look like ass. Also remember, boys and girls, that whenever you do any, come on, white bird, yep, there we go. Any torquing of bolts in a round formation, you always do a star pattern, so go boop, 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 haha. And so as long as you're doing it in a star formation, you even the load, you don't warp anything, which is important. Okay, let's get the rest of this together. Okay, got the winch bolted in. Had to spool out all the cable, but at least that makes it lighter. Now I'm going to see if I can drop this sucker down and get her bolted up. Let's see how well this thing goes. Oh yeah, it's all coming together now. That's what I'm talking about. Almost there. Okay, bumper's installed. I cut off the top part of the original bumper You can see what it used to look like. And now I gotta go get the keys so I can pop the hood, fasten this guy back on, and I still gotta wire up the winch, but that's gonna be a project for another day. First I gotta get this thing parked. But she's coming together. And there's the front upper section all cleaned up. I also painted this one piece. I wanted to paint it on the other truck, but I can't get the damn thing off because these little bolts here on the other one are completely goddamn stripped. But this guy's clean and ready to go, so I'm gonna go stick this guy in the truck. Okay, sitting on the back bumper of the truck. And I popped open the box just because I was curious what's in here, and also thinking about routing this cable a little closer. And I don't know, looks okay in here. It's pretty empty, not gonna lie. This thing here looks like a giant relay unit with three leads going in. So there's probably a return. So it's probably one direction, the other direction, and then a common or a return. So yeah, if anything would be to fail on this, I think it'd be this guy. Well, we're underneath the truck right now, and I wasn't planning on doing the electrical today, but this guy actually fits pretty easily back here. So there's the connector there. I think I might just wire it up. This is a really happy with this bumper. Everything fits amazingly down here, which is excellent. So yeah, let's get this sucker all wired up. I got them all on there. Just need to tighten those bolts, put the sleeves over them. Well, that's it for the winch and bumper. I still need to get the lights in, but that's going to be a whole nother wiring thing because I got to run switches to the interior and whatnot. But yeah, I like it. It looks a lot more aggressive. It's got a nice stance. So I just got to get it out of the middle of the way here, and yeah, it should be good.